one of these movies, Goosebumps, that I'm legitimately looking forward to.
It's great. The movie's great. End of interview. The movie's great.
I like that. Well, sir, you do have a track record.
I'm not kidding. I love this movie as much as any movie I've ever made.
For both of you, let's go backwards a little bit and just talk briefly about how the project came together for the two of you. And was this one of these things that moved really fast through the development process?
The development process was really slow, but then when Rob came on, it was really fast. Up until that time, we just didn't have a good idea. We weren't sure exactly what a Goosebumps movie should be. We tried a number of different avenues. They just weren't good enough. And then when we came up with the idea that the reason why R.L. Stine's Goosebumps stories are so good is because the creatures are real and they're all locked up in the books. That to me was a really good idea, and that made the difference of us being able to go forward. And then we had a script that we really liked. I called Rob, who had wanted to work with for quite a while, gave him the script, and we were off and running.
True story.
Talk a little bit about how when you set out to make a movie, you hope you're gonna you think you're making this movie, but it might turn into this movie. How did the project change from when you first got involved to what people are going to see on screen, if at all?
I don't know. I mean, Neal called me up and he's like, "Hey, we have Goosebumps. Here's the big idea." I wasn't expecting it because I knew Goosebumps as a series of books and as an anthology series, and I was expecting Neal to tell me it's this story. And he said the big idea is, what if R.L. Stine's in the story? And the secret magic is those monsters are real and they're literally locked up in the books, and then they pop out. And I was like, oh my God, what a great excuse to make what I grew up on, these Amblin movies, these big event type Amblin movies. It seemed perfect. I was so excited to take a crack at that. And so I know usually movies evolve and they become something that you don't expect, but we really went in day one and said, let's make this, feel like a classic Amblin-esque type of film, and stuck to our guns all the way through.
It's grounded, even though obviously there's just crazy monsters in the movie. It's a grounded movie with real dilemmas and real problems for our main characters.
What did you guys learn from the test screening process and friends and family screenings that possibly impacted the finished film?
I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy, but honestly,
There was one thing we learned, that we changed something at the very end, which was a little.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and that was
don't give it away.
I'm not going to, but that was really the only thing.
That is true.
The movie that will be in theaters is a little shorter than our first cut, but beyond that, it's that movie. It really was one of these special things where, obviously, we're always extremely nervous when we put a movie up for an audience for the first time. But it was one of those situations where we went to Arizona, we screened the movie, and we were all high-fiving as the movie ended. We knew we had a winner, and then I don't think the studio was like, wow, that was amazing. Should we do it one more time just to check? And we're like, okay. We took it to Huntington Beach, we screened it there. We actually scored it a 96 compared to a 95 or something. And it was one of those situations where the audience told us that even though they had high expectations for what a Goosebumps movie was, they were even more. They even thought it was better than what their expectations were. So it was really fulfilling.
I was going to say a 95 and a 96 is very unusual.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but I've never experienced that.
I have experienced it all the time. I talk to them.
Those are really high scores.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's a movie that plays as a great family film, but because of the nostalgia factor for people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s who read the books as kids, those people are really interested and really like the movie when they see it too.
Where are you in the post-production process now? Is the movie locked and done?
It's basically locked.
Visual effects.
We're deep in visual effects. There's pretty intense work, beautiful visual effects work. So proud of the visual effects guys. They're killing themselves. They're doing amazing work. Danny Elfman is writing the music as we speak, and it's, we're 2 months away.
I want to hear some of it on Friday, and I'm very excited to hear it.
Is it all score, or are you also going to use any songs?
No, it's primarily score. I mean,
a couple songs.
There's some songs in the sense that their source, they're playing in the scene out of
Majority of the movie takes place over one night.
There we go. Jack Black has a history of making some pretty good movies. There's a lot of films he's made. I mean, I could list them, but I'm not going to. What was it about Jack for both of you that said he has to be the guy.
He has a warmth to him, a heart to him. There's humor to him, obviously, but he also knows how to play things very grounded. If you look at like Bernie or these kinds of movies, even though there was a character there, it fit into a real world, and that's what we were looking for.
I mean, Jack, we needed his help a lot. The tone was very, very tricky. It's really hard to, be both grounded, be funny, be scary, and weave it all together so it doesn't feel like it's, three different things happening at the same time. And he really brought it all together. His persona is fun, but he's also an incredible actor, and he can create a character and have a lot of gravitas at the beginning of the movie, which we really needed because there's a big misdirect with that character at the beginning of the movie, and then pull the curtain back in his performance and show a different side of him, and it was great. I'm really proud of him.
How long was your first cut, and how long is the finished film?
My first cut, I can proudly say, was not 5 hours long. It was a pretty decent hour 40, right?
Maybe a little bit, maybe an hour 45. And I think the finished movie would be like 100 minutes, 97 minutes, somewhere in there.
Oh, so you didn't have like a lot of fat in there.
No, we were really,
We couldn't afford to.
We really,
This movie did not cost as much as.
we really wanted to put as much money on the screen, and I feel like that if you're really kind of prudent during pre-production and really examine everything, and there are certain scenes that you just know aren't going to make it into the movie, don't shoot them.
Is this the type of film that you are going to be bringing to Comic-Con this summer?
We haven't talked about it yet.
We brought it to Comic-Con last year.
Well, we brought the film.
Oh, not the film, right?
But maybe we haven't talked about it yet. We've been rushing to get this film done. I've obviously been a little preoccupied with Fast and Furious, and that'll be a discussion that we'll have next.
I have to ask because you are now part of the $1 Billion Club.
Yes, very proud of that.
Yeah, I mean this in all sincerity. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
First fastest film in 1 billion.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's truly
really amazing.
I'm imagining that there are many phone calls right now with Vin talking about 3 more. That when do you think fans will hear about Furious 8 moving forward?
I think that if that's going to happen, it'll be soon.
I know that Furious 8's happening. That's like a meeting.
We're definitely talking about it, but we also kind of all said to ourselves is let's relish this moment of Fast 7, Furious 7, I should say. Let's relish it, and there'll be plenty of time to talk about Fast 8.
My last question about Furious 8. James Wan is committed to doing Conjuring 2.
Yes.
Do you think James is coming back, or do you see yourself having to talk to other filmmakers?
Don't know yet.
I will leave it there.
Okay.
I want to ask about one other thing with there's been a lot of talk about a Jump Street Men in Black crossover.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that's coming? What do you think?
We're working on it. I'd love it to come. I love it. I love the idea. I love the story, and we'd love it to come if it all comes together in the right way, for sure.
Okay, I'll jump back into the two of you now, and I have to ask about Furious.
I want to know those answers to the questions.
Right, I mean, listen, he's a very prolific producer. You got to ask about these things. I am very curious, though, with your track record making movies, how was it on set in terms of studio involvement for both of you? Is it one of these things where, like, they give you the money and then you basically, if you know what
the thing is, I like to be a great partner with the studio. I feel like I've been a great partner to them and they've been a great partner to me, but I also think that there's a trust that exists between myself and the studio where they know that I'm on it and I know we're taking care of it, and if there's an issue, I'll bring it up to them. But we didn't have any problems with this movie. We went off and made the movie the way we wanted to do it, and the studio was very happy with what they were seeing, and it was an easy process.
I've been asking.
It's true. It really was. Yeah.
I've been asking this of every person I've been interviewing recently, and it's now for the two of you. What is the worst job you ever had prior to getting into Hollywood?
I used to sand rivets on tour buses in Hawaii, where I'm from, to raise enough money over the summer to go to Comic-Con when I was 13. It was horrible. I made $300 in 3 months. It was terrifying. After taxes.
My worst job, or the job that I disliked the most, was probably being a box boy at the local market. That job I didn't love that much. But I liked so many of my other jobs, and that they all really built a lot of character, to be honest.
Yeah.
My favorite job was being a beach boy at the Sand and Sea Club down in Santa Monica Beach. That was my favorite job.
Yeah, I would imagine working on the beach is very tough with the women.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was actually a lot of work, but it was fun. I loved it.
I couldn't handle that personally, but you know, jumping back into this for a second, there's been some weird sounds in these rooms. Have you been noticing?
Yeah.
I'm very curious though about putting together the rest of the cast, and when you're putting together a cast like this, Jack, and surrounding it with other people, how early on do you know it's all going to work out chemistry-wise? Is it one of these things where like you guys are doing?
We did so many chemistry reads.
Oh, God, and Jack is, I mean, that's the best thing about it. He's so easygoing. He came in over and over again. We had, you know, we paired him up with all these different combinations.
But then we
of
had
kids
lots of
and-
combinations of kids that we were moving around, mixing around, and it became pretty apparent pretty quickly who was our top choices. And there was a lot of movies casting for kids at this age, so we were kind of a competition. With other movies, but it all worked out really well. The chemistry.
We scored.
Honestly,
we scored.
The chemistry between the kids reminds me of like Stand By Me.
Well, that's a very big statement, but then again, if you with the 95 and the 96 test screening score, that's probably true.
People love the characters.
They really did. Yeah.
When you guys, I'm very curious about the table read process, and when you're getting ready to go into production, how much, when you guys are doing a table read, are you tweaking the script afterwards?
Did we do a table read?
We did not do a table
Yeah.
read.
Oh,
This
so
is
you really-
my first time not doing a table read. We didn't.
No, we did rehearsals, and
We did
we had writers in the rehearsal room with you.
I did do rehearsals. We had two writers come in when we were in prep in Atlanta, who really
Helped us with the dialogue.
really helped us a lot. And Lee and Jean, Lee Heisenberg and Jean Stupinski came in, and
Those guys
They're great.
Yeah,
awesome
they're
guys.
pretty good.
Oh, they're so good. And we sat with Jack and Dylan Minnette, Odeya Rush, and Ryan Lee, the principals, and we just sat around in a conference room and just ran through the script. And Lee and Jean were there, and we just kept, you know, tweaking it and.
What was so good about it, honestly, was the first time where we said to them, "Don't change any scenes, just help us with dialogue," and that's what they did.
And they changed every scene.
My last question for you, and then I'll leave you be. For each of you, what would surprise people to learn about the other person? Is there like a surprise?
What do you mean?
Like, is there something about Neal that would surprise people, vice versa?
I can't say that while you're recording.
Oh, so
The surprise for me was I didn't know he was born and raised in Hawaii, and that was a surprise to me because I wouldn't expect him from Hawaii, but now that I know him, I do.
yeah, he doesn't come across as someone from Hawaii. You really.
My friends, my longest friends, who I've literally known since elementary school, who are still my best friends, always say the thing we like about you the most is you haven't changed.
There we go. I will leave you. I'll leave you both.